Morning, it's Julie Johnson from COFIGHT-19's Parent Support Podcast. So far this week we've been exploring different aspects of our well-being, starting by looking after ourselves. We are then resourced to look after our families. Let's put that into practice by checking in with ourselves right now. Whatever you're doing, if you possibly can, stop for a brief moment and choose one of the following questions to ask yourself, or all three if you want to. At any moment you can press pause to give yourself time to think. How am I doing right now, in this moment? What sensations or emotions am I aware of in my body? What is the one thing I feel good about from the last few days? What do I need to help me look after myself today? Hopefully one, two, or three, all three of those questions have given you a little space to gently reconnect and check in with yourself. So having spent a few days exploring emotions, how to be with and manage them, we're going to look at how best we can meet some of our emotional needs in this time of social isolation. We've talked a little bit about security, connection, control, and how these essential human needs are under threat at the moment. Let's not fool ourselves, the dangers are serious, but we still have a certain amount of agency at our fingertips. Let's now take a look at how we can fight back, take control, take care of ourselves and our families. There are some very simple steps we can take to regain a sense of security. And you may have done some of these things already, and in which case that's brilliant. You're already getting yourself on track, and you might want to use today's suggestions as a checklist to which you may add a few more ideas. Now, for some of us, building structure comes more easily than others, and no doubt there'll be some of you who have readily flung down the shackles of the 9-to-5 routine and eased into life in lockdown like it was a pair of your comfiest pyjamas. Whatever your attitude is to routine, it's important to remember that our physical bodies function through rhythm and routine. The regularity of our heartbeat, our body clock, which depends on the rising and falling of the sun, we function best with some level of structure. And wherever you are along the continuum, from military position to chilled out hippie, applying some of this structure brings a sense of security to everyone. And of course, we are all too aware of how we are losing our sense of security and control over our world right now. So here are some ideas for you to consider, and just as we started this podcast with an emotional check-in, you might want to do a structure check-in as you listen. Ask yourself, which of these suggestions could you try out, and how might they impact and support your family? Let's begin with the daily routine. It's psychologically important to differentiate between our sleep time and our daytime activity. So it helps to get up at the same time and get dressed, ready for your day. It doesn't hurt to have a pyjama day once a week so that anyone who wants to can just blob. Family meals can act as a signpost, marking breaks and helping you all to transition to the next stage of the day. Each member of the family can contribute to making the meal in a way that's suitable for their age, which in itself is a lovely bonding and learning opportunity, though the meals may not always be to the liking of everybody involved. But that's family life. And then you all sit down together. You could even try out some of the mealtime conversation starters from yesterday's podcast. Another domestic task that everyone can get stuck into is housework. Now, some of you may groan at the idea of imposing a rota, but there are other ways to do it. And everyone, even little children, can play their part. I know one mother who follows a sneak attack approach, training her children in domestic skills by having a rota which only she knows about. Then, when a job needs doing, she checks the rota and asks the children if they could just do one thing for her quickly, gradually increasing their responsibilities as time goes by. Another suggestion is job time, when you can add a bit of fun by ringing a bell to start and finish job time. Try this for a maximum of about an hour a day, with a little family treat at the end for when they're all done. Family life is a juggling act at the best of times, and even more so when we have to manage everything under the same roof for 24 hours a day. All of which means we adults need to create a structure that allows us to get the important jobs done, but also to remember what a level of flexibility will help us work around each other more effectively. So a helpful loose structure is to try and make time for these 5 essential aspects of our adult lives. Time for work, time with the children, time for ourselves, for our partner, time with friends. If we hold these 5 goals in mind throughout the day, it can make it easier to manage the plate-spinning madness of family life without feeling like the day itself is spinning away from our control. As ever, the website has plenty more ideas for you to reflect on as you work out new ways to manage the challenges of family life with COVID-19. Tomorrow we'll be examining the powerful importance of self-compassion. We are very good at criticising ourselves, at beating ourselves up when we perceive we've made a mistake. But it often takes a lot for us to give ourselves the patience and forgiveness that we might show to others. So we'll talk about this in more detail tomorrow. Hope you have a positive and reflective day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Stay safe and be well.